Welcome back. Today I'm in a client's front garden and I'm going to plant up her window box with autumn, winter and spring colour. It's going to have 3 seasons of interest, so it's going to be packed with beauty. I'm sorry it's a bit noisy out here because of the traffic, and we've had a helicopter whirring around trying to find my videographer. So, because he's a bit of a ruffian. So I'm going to now take out the summer bedding because it's spent, it's over. And I'm going to take out the compost and I'm going to replenish the window box. The geraniums or pelargoniums are coming out. This was her summer beauty. I overwintered them last winter, but I'm not going to overwinter them again because they've got a bit leggy. So they're coming out, as is the lobelia, which has given her a lot of colour. It just look, it's still flowering, but it's going to come out because I'm going to completely replant this window box. I'm going to put new compost in the window box. Very important to put fresh compost in when you put in some new plants, because the nutrients in compost only last about 2 or 3 months. 3 months in this case. This is Rocket Grow, which is the compost that I like to use. Now I'm going to be using ericaceous compost because I'm planting Skimmia japonica, which is an evergreen shrub, a small to medium sized evergreen shrub, and it needs acid soil. So I'm going to use ericaceous compost. I'm going to fill the window box with about 1/3 of ericaceous compost because I'm going to be planting bulbs. So there's going to be a layer of bulbs and then I'm going to put the autumn winter interest in on top of the bulbs. So I'll do that now. I'm going to plant Narcissus Tete-a-tete at the bottom of the window box, which are these bulbs here. And they are probably one of my favourite daffodils. They're a dwarf daffodil. They work really nicely in pots and window boxes because they're small and petite. And they're called tete-a-tete because the flower heads are head to head. You get 2 on a stem. Very pretty. So they're going to go in at the bottom. Rustle, rustle. By the way, the other plants won't mind being in ericaceous compost, if I could say that. Now I'm not going to put the bulbs in where I'm going to put the skimmias. This is Skimmia japonica, and it's an evergreen, and it'll look great in the autumn and it'll look great in the winter because it's evergreen. So where I place these, I won't put bulbs underneath because these are a permanent fixture. I'll put the bulbs around under the cyclamen. I will explain, you will see. So I've placed the skimmias and I'm going to plant the bulbs around them. You can plant them quite close together so you get a really nice clump. So I'm probably putting them about 1/2 inch apart, maybe less. As long as they're not touching, they'll make a lovely clump. That's a rotten one. Make sure, give them a feel. They need to be firm. Any rotten ones, don't use. And that's the perfect amount. 18, well with the rotten one, 17. So that's going to give a good display in the spring. Now I'm going to put another layer of compost over the bulbs. So I'll take out the skimmias. Need to remember roughly where they were. How am I going to remember that, James? No. Now I'm not going to put compost in where the skimmias were. So pop the skimmia back in. just tickle out the roots. And this is actually in bud. It's not the flower, it's a bud. And the bud lasts all the way through the autumn and winter, and then in the spring they'll flower. So this gives winter and spring interest. And Skimmias are best in light shade or dapple shade. This is actually an east-facing garden, so it does get the sun, but I think they'll be all right. But they're great for this scheme would be great for a slightly shady position. How's that looking? Lovely. Now the cyclamen are going to go in on top of the bulbs. Now these are frost tender, so if it's a cold winter they will die off, but it'll give you a lot of colour in the autumn and in early winter, and they might come back next year if it's not too cold. Sorry about the noise, but I'm going to take them out in the spring because the bulbs are going to push through. So once it comes to spring I'll take them off. I might take them off before that if they have kicked it. Now with cyclamen, you want to take off the leaves which have been affected by botrytis, which is a grey mould, because otherwise it will just go through the whole plant. So take off the leaves which aren't looking great. Now another little trick with cyclamen is you run your finger, because they like to be slightly proud. The bulb can quite easily rot, so you just expose the top of the bulb before you put it in, and there you go. So I'm going to have 3 in here, and then I'm going to squidge in some trailing ivy, and it'll be a lovely festive winter box. Well, autumn and winter and spring. 3 seasons of interest. Lastly, I'm going to put in the trailing ivies. I've got 2 here. They're variegated, yellow and green, very pretty. Et voila! I think that's nice in the middle. I just give a nice display of ivy and it'll trail down. Now I'm going to add the rest of the compost just to bed in the plants, and then I'll water it. Now the watering. Very important to water well when you first plant, and keep an eye on the watering, because although it's autumn and we do have rain, we can have dry spells, and yesterday was 21 degrees, so keep an eye on the watering because these plants are still living. They're going to keep going through the autumn and the winter, so don't water them when it's very cold and frosty, but otherwise make sure you give them a good water once a week. Thanks for joining me. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.